recording, Agnes. People coming in. Thank you. Hello, Ross. Thank you for Colin. Thank you for coming in. Just allowing people in at the moment.
Yeah, thank you. Good afternoon.
Hi, Colin.
Hi, Simon.
How's it going, Agnes?
Slowly, but coming. People coming.
Okay. Okay, we have an intimate group today online, but I'm just going to say thank you for coming, those that are here, and hopefully more coming in. Okay, you have reached the Ukraine-Britain Business Council's webinar about law firms, and the question is, why are law firms the key to getting business in Ukraine? And the hypothesis is that they are. I'm just letting people roll in here. Thank you for joining up, everybody. Oh, here we go. Right. Okay, just be another minute. Yep, I'm coming in now. Thank you.
Я это смотрела, это час назад.
Okay, if you don't mind just muting your phone, that'd be great. Oh. Hello? Okay. Hello, everybody. Just to say, I think we're going to start. Maybe other people will roll in. This is being recorded, and you have reached the Ukraine-Britain Business Council's webinar on law firms. Why law firms are the key to getting business in Ukraine. And today we have 5 speakers. Nataliya Yankovska from Harcus Parker. We have Simon Cassey from Chesterfield Insurance Brokers. Dmytro Syrota from SDM. Yaroslav Petrov, who is the partner of the London office of Asters, and last but not least, Vadym Romaniuk from PwC Legal. We're going to keep this fairly punchy, but I'd like to start off with Nataliya, and really the whole basis to this hypothesis of mine is that law firms are really the key to finding business and doing business in Ukraine, not least because they have the clients, they have the knowledge, they have the investors, and they know where the business. So anyone who's considering going to Ukraine might want to first go to law firms because they can navigate you through, they can get the contracts, and they can introduce you to business. So it's a slightly more business development approach to law than possibly people thinking about. And with that hypothesis, I'm hoping that everyone can confirm it for me. So first of all, I'd like to introduce Nataliya Yankovska. Nataliya, over to you.
Thank you. Let me just quickly share my screen. Hopefully you will be able to see my presentation.
Yep.
Brilliant. Good afternoon, everyone. Доброго дня всім, хто нас чує. My name is Nataliya, and I'm an associate at Harcus Parker Limited, as well as also legal advisor for Ukrainian Britain Business Council. It's a great honor to be here today to discuss such a crucial topic, pivotal role of law firms in sort of facilitating business in Ukraine, because like echoing what Ashley said, we can obviously leverage our legal expertise, bridge the gap between foreign and Ukrainian investors, and help businesses navigate the geopolitical challenges. So my role will be very much introductory in nature, given I represent the so-called last resort lawyers, where we are litigation lawyers. But I will start by introducing UBBC. So UBBC is an esteemed organization dedicated to fostering business connections and opportunities between Ukraine and the UK. It was founded by Baroness Nicholson, Christoph Michels, and Harcus Parker's own managing partner, Damon Parker. UBBC plays a crucial role in sort of promoting bilateral trade and investment, organizes events like this one today, facilitating network opportunities. We're here to connect businesses, law firms, universities together for business opportunities. So do please follow us and give us a shout if you need any help. So Harcus Parker, like someone once told me that litigation lawyers are like parachutes. If you need them, that you're really in trouble. But while it's true that we often come into the pictures when things have taken turn to the worse rather than at the beginning when the business connections happen, there's a little bit more to us. So our firm is renowned for commitment to social justice, hence our firm's keen involvement in establishing UBBC, and we are claimant focused. So our real strength lies in the ability to connect businesses with third-party funders and find the most economical solutions to their problems. So we have this deep understanding and experience in sort of providing cost-effective pathways to for businesses to achieve their goals, but also, like I said, we can connect you with third-party funders, both non-profit and the ones that do sadly profit from it, but it's something that we do. At the minute, Harcus Parker is exploring several avenues to help Ukraine as a firm. So we're looking at a couple of mass arbitration routes, using both the common third-party funding route and the not-for-profit third-party funders to offer substantial aid for Ukrainian businesses. We are also looking at the route for foreign businesses to recover their assets from Russia. Again, involves navigating quite complex legal landscapes, but we appreciate that quite a lot of businesses can be grouped together, and also that they might want third-party funding to help them out because of the enforcement issues in Russia. But this sort of concludes where we come in. Like I said, my role is more introductory in this webinar because when it comes to business development, litigation firms are not perfectly suited for sort of initial business commitments, but we are here in terms of helping businesses to recover what they have lost. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much indeed, Nataliya. I'd love to know more about third-party funders. That sounds a very alluring subject. Can you expand at all on that in terms of what sort of organizations?
Yes, so we have internal third-party funders that we use. For example, Catch Invest, they're based in the Netherlands. We also have brilliant connections with Harbour. But basically, they are the funders that if you have any issues, whether foreign businesses or Ukrainian businesses, that you would want to air out in litigation and arbitration, we can build up that connection with the funder and can help you build up the case for the funder, because funders are quite peculiar people and they want to know what the risks are, especially when it comes to, for example, asset recovery from Russia. The biggest question there is enforcement, for example. But like I said, we have great connections with those people because that's the main people that we work with. So yeah.
Thanks very much. Just moving on now to Dmytro Syrota from SDM. Dmytro, look forward to hearing from you.
Yes, thank you very much, Ashley. So our law firm SDM, we help mostly international companies from Europe, UK, United States to do their business in Ukraine in absolutely different segments. And what we see from the business these days is the major question of is it worth coming into Ukraine, making additional investments into Ukraine? Obviously, from one point of view, it's rather risky because of war and military factors. But at the same time, we see a really huge opportunities in Ukraine. The point is that because of the war, many companies, they quit the markets or had to stop their business and things like that. And that actually made many market shares vacant. And those companies who were brave enough to continue working in the Ukraine, they start gaining extremely high profits. Especially we see it among our clients in such sectors as infrastructure, logistics, transport, FMCG, healthcare, real estate, and obviously energy. Some of our clients, they have a growth of around 30-45% annually, which is really, really huge. And this is not just because you do your regular stuff, and it's because of the war and what we have like a unique situation in the market. So yeah, it's risks, but at the same time, it's huge opportunities, and that's what we have in Ukraine. And we also should understand that the market will grow substantially after the war, and the more and more investment will be coming. Therefore, those companies who are brave enough to start investing now, they will benefit from the Ukraine's growth after the war. And we also see that many Ukrainian companies right now, they're looking actively for finance for the partners from the Europe, from the United States, EU, and other parts of the world. And so they're happy to discuss different opportunities in absolutely different sectors of economy in Ukraine. And as I said, the most urgent are obviously like in energy, logistic, real estate, but this is just in healthcare, of course, but this is just like an example. So there are a lot of opportunities and a lot of offers from the Ukrainian companies. And what our law firm does, we help international investors to find these real offers in your sector of interests. And that's what we do. I also see that there is really goodwill on the part of government in Ukraine. So despite all, bad sides of any governmental officials, like in any country of the world, nevertheless, the Ukrainian government is quite open for helping foreign investment to enter into Ukraine. They have a number of programs, groups, officials who can help foreign investors enter Ukraine, expand their business, and things like that. So, and we also help many international companies to establish these kinds of relations and support from the government in accordance with legal procedures which are established in Ukraine. There are also a lot of financial opportunities from international financial institutions. Like just an example, of course, we can mention such organizations like EBRD or DFC, but at the same time, European Union has launched recently a program called Ukraine Facility, which is $50 billion program, euro, sorry. And out of this, 8 billion is dedicated to support business. And actually, when you start any program in Ukraine, you may also try to use this finance through EU sources. What we also faced in practice is a question of war risk insurance. And just a couple of thoughts about this sphere. We see a great progress within the last couple of years. For instance, the National Bank of Ukraine announced that they are going to launch a new military risk insurance program based on the state fund, and which will be managed by a special state agency in Ukraine. OWN and DFC also recently announced 350 million war risk insurance scheme for different schemes of economy. We may also mention a well-known product by Marsh and Lloyd's for ensuring a vessel corridor for transportation of grains across the Black Sea. So there are actually a lot of other advantages which the investor may face in Ukraine right now. Like, for instance, we have a special legislation promoting the large investments. Like if you invest in more than 20 million euros, in certain key sectors of economy, you can get tax preferences like exempt from the income tax for 5 years, VAT. You can be funded from the state budgets, like up to 30% of your budget, and other benefits like that. And the business environment and the ease of setting up business in Ukraine is also at very high level. You normally don't need like sophisticated licensing, business setups, etc. So you can launch it like in 3 days and go ahead. So just to summarize of what we see right now is, yeah, it's true that we have a lot of problems in Ukraine, obviously, but at the same time, it offers huge opportunities, and we see great feedback from the Ukrainian business, from the government, to start cooperation with the foreign investors. And our law firm in particular will be very much pleased to help any of you to establish these kinds of contracts and support your programs, projects, opportunities in Ukraine. So thank you.
Dmytro, thank you. That was a really good summary, and I'm sure others may want to comment on that. Could just say, firstly, it strikes me that fortune favors the brave. There are great opportunities for those brave enough to go in, particularly profitability. The second thing I noted is that the government and the banking sector have got good liquidity. There's not really a financial risk in Ukraine at the moment, and in fact, profitability is pretty heavy, isn't it? It's pretty good.
Yeah, absolutely. So the banks in Ukraine, they showed the best results for the last decade, I believe, in 2023. So it was really a success. Some of them are telling that this is because we have certain currency limitations, and there was like limitation on bringing money out of Ukraine, and that might be the factor of their income. And by the way, this is also a great example. The National Bank of Ukraine has recently lifted most of the limitation for currency repatriation from Ukraine, and foreign investors now may repatriate their dividends, services, and things like that. So the economy become even more liberalized. But yeah, so the financial stability is in place in Ukraine, and mostly because of strong support from EU, United States, and we see the commitment of major powers, Western powers, to continue that.
Just lost you. Thank you very much, Dmytro. You mentioned insurance, so I'd like now to go to Simon Cassey, for which insurance is his business. And Simon, tell us a bit more about what you do and the landscape. And obviously, there's been vessel insurance, and Dmytro's referred to some government insurance. What's your reading of it? You're muted, Simon.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm okay. I'm back.
Yeah.
Yes, very interesting, Dmytro. Thank you. And of course, what you said a moment ago about the main opportunities being when the war stops. I think we must be very clear that until that time, investment will be limited. Just quickly before we go on, a bit of a background about Chesterfield, only 30 seconds. We're specialists in the hostile environment sector. We started in Iraq at 2003, and we've been doing it ever since. We are involved in Somalia, Nigeria, Libya, Iraq, Afghanistan, Gaza, Israel, and basically all those regions of conflict. Now, we provide both marine insurance for ships coming out of Odessa, and we provide a limited political terrorism cover for activities in Ukraine. I would say that the Marsh facility, as you quoted, was it's not actually a great deal, because all the marine brokers will not actually use Marsh's facility. They use the same insurers in Lloyd's. And the Aon facility is somewhat limited with its 350 million limit, which isn't really enough to satisfy the Ukrainian demand. But more importantly, we have two sectors, if you like. One, the present insurance climate and the insurance opportunities, and much more interesting, the future ones when and if the white flag goes up. Present insurances, as you mentioned, marine cargo, marine hull. We do land cargo as well. You can insure cargoes going into Ukraine on land. And most importantly, and the most active actually, is insuring people. And Chesterfield, as a matter of fact, have nearly 1,000 people insured within Ukraine, various areas, journalists in the front line, businessmen in Kiev, others doing NGO work very close to the Russian army. Those are the things, those are the present issues that we can deal with. Much of what you were talking about is very much the future, although there are financial products that are available in the insurance market now, but most of them will depend upon investment that will take place after the war or peace is declared, if it ever is. There aren't that many investors who are going to be putting money in without some kind of guarantee from the Ukrainian government, some guarantee from Brussels, maybe from London, from Washington, and those guarantees are supported not necessarily.
Sorry, I missed you there. Sorry, Simon. Yeah.
Sorry.
I'm sorry, I missed that bit. I think you froze, unless it's my machine.
Okay.
Brussels and London.
Yes, indeed. Those guarantees from the governments will be backed by reinsurance. The reinsurance market is very active in this, or will be very active in this, and that is where the real opportunities lie. The Ukrainian insurance market is very immature. It will definitely become more mature over the years to come. The Ukrainian government will not want anybody to insure directly into in Ukraine. They will want domestic insurers to insure, and those Ukrainian insurance companies will be looking for reinsurance throughout the global market. And needless to say, the Austrians, the Germans, and the Polish insurance market are very active in the reinsurance of Ukrainian government guarantees. The global reinsurance market is equally interested in the government undertakings, and those also the obvious ones such as UK Export Finance. I believe the Polish Export Credit Agency is a very active agency in the area, in this sector. The US government, of course, the DFC, and of course USAID. But the picture at the moment is pretty small in many ways, with just marine cargo, marine hull, and personal accident, with a sprinkling of interest and activity in the political risk market, which is still not interested at the extent that the Ukrainian government would like. There's also standalone terrorism and political violence. That is a little bit easier to insure, the standard insurance, and then there's commercial credit risk, effectively failure of a customer to pay. But there is still a lot of work to be done, and that work will be facilitated, just to endorse the subject of this seminar, will be facilitated by the legal profession.
Thank you, Simon. Just a quick question for me is that I know that there's variable areas in Ukraine that are obviously more at risk. So the east is under a lot of pressure, Kyiv is relatively safe, and the west is reasonably safe. Is there any insurance variation on that basis?
Oh yes, definitely. Yeah. I mean, the insurers were effectively divided Ukraine into regions of safety and high risk, and it's obvious that the closer you are to the Russian army, the higher the risk. But as a matter of fact, you can insure yourself on the front line if you're adequately protected. That mainly journalists seek this cover, and that's in the region of about $3,000 to $4,000 a day. But Kiev would be a lot cheaper at maybe $50 a day. One of the interesting things from the insurance point of view, to answer your question, is the aggregate risk as well. If you've got 2 people in Kiev, that's $100 a day maximum probably. But if you've got 30 or 40 people in the same place, then there is a much greater exposure for obvious reasons. But yes, there is definitely different rates for different parts of the country.
And just to push that further, say Southwest, which has been pretty clear, apart from Odessa. I mean, is that again quite low? Does it become manageable for investment?
Oh yes, yes, definitely from investment. If you're talking about insuring people, that is very doable. The appetite for political risk, or rather, sorry, political violence and terrorism is not so great closer to Odessa as it would be in a nice quiet part of Western Ukraine.
Okay. Simon, thank you very much. I might ask people later if they wish to quiz you further, but that's very helpful.
Good.
Thanks very much for that good analysis. And now I think if we go to Yaroslav Petrov from Asters. Yaroslav, looking forward to hearing from you as one of the leading law firms in Ukraine.
Thank you very much for this opportunity. Continuing on the topic of insurance, I would like to add that this area is quite important for our clients, and we have advised actually expert credit agency on the first project of the offering war risk insurance for the grain corridor deal, and so it was very important project for our firm, and we continue to advise clients on war risk insurance matters. And so quite interesting observation. So recently it was announced that expert credit agency is offering war risk insurance for Ukrainian companies to support projects, and basically we already started to look into this from a practical perspective, and we see that it is a good instrument, but there are some issues which should be improved, especially from the perspective of the limit for the coverage, and also what type of activities can be covered. So there is kind of one element is that the expert credit agency is supporting businesses which are export oriented, and in this respect it is necessary to look into in details on the terms and what companies can be eligible. So, but it is on the insurance front. But generally about Asters, Asters is the largest law firm on the market, and despite the war, we are quite strong, and so many of our teams are quite busy with work supporting clients, local and international. And in terms of kind of the main topic of this event is that law firms should be a bridge between foreign investors and Ukrainian companies. And basically, I would say that law firms, not only Asters but many other firms, are playing very important role in sending a message about the fact that Ukraine is operational, business is working, and so we can help bring investments. We can explain to companies that yes, it is challenging, it is difficult, but there are areas where you can invest. And for example, one of the new areas which has grown in our firm is like defense sector. It is a completely new sector which is growing, and there are many companies in this, and quite important. But in terms of delivering the message to foreign investors, what we are doing. So for example, as part of my role as head of London office for Asters, so we developed a quite comprehensive investment presentation, so which is actually not legal document. It is just a summary of various information about unavailable opportunities in various sectors, which each sector was developed by lawyers of particular practice group. So basically quite important document which shows kind of what areas can be attractive at the moment, what is happening in the moment. And so I'm doing this presentation around international firms who have clients interested in Ukraine, and it's actually helping to deliver a message that it is possible to do business, and it includes information about financing opportunities, and also about war risk insurance matters, etc. Another platform what we are doing in terms of bringing in investments is cooperation with conference organizers strategy council, and so we've been doing last year event on it was infrastructure forum together with Herbert Smith, Free Hills. This year we will also do another infrastructure forum on 29th of October, and strategy council is actually focusing on many events focusing on Ukraine, and these events are actually organized together and in the premises of law firms, and I think it is a very important instrument to deliver a message about investments in Ukraine. So I would agree that law firms are very important in this role, in this mission, and we will continue to do this. Thank you.
Yaroslav, just quickly, are there any key sector? I know you talked about infrastructure there. I mean, you'll probably cover most sectors, but if you had to say, actually, these are the 3 or 4 that we're absolutely strong on, would you like to tell us which sectors to titivate anyone listening in?
From my perspective, of course, it is energy, international disputes, infrastructure, banking, finance, corporate. So the core sectors which are important these days.
Okay, thank you very much indeed. Something that crossed my mind also is that Ukraine is doing and they are fixing the current problems. They are also modernizing and at the same time internationalizing. So it seems like there's a whole new opportunity here for Ukraine to become more international as a country after the war and during the war. Is that what you're seeing? You're seeing Ukraine companies coming out, internationalizing, particularly energy maybe. Is that a fair description, that they're also becoming international companies as well as fixing the local problems?
Yeah, absolutely. But Ukraine is becoming more interested not only to foreign companies, and actually there is certain appetite among international companies in coming at this stage. And for example, there is a quite interesting market of developers in energy sector who understand that energy infrastructure is destroyed, and so a number of international companies has decided to invest into projects. So they're doing this. At the same time, there are a group of Ukrainian companies who are also doing the same because they have some cash liquidity, and they invest into this. So basically, it is both for local and international clients who see potential, and they're using this opportunity at the moment.
Oh, thank you very much indeed. Vadym, are you there? I can't see you on the visuals here. Is he here? He was here a moment ago. Maybe his internet connection's gone. Just to say, would anybody, while we're trying to see if Vadym is here, would anybody like to make a comment? Would you like to discuss anything between yourselves? For example, Nataliya, would you like to ask a question of Dmytro, Petrov, or Simon, for example?
I just sort of, it's a more general question, I think, from the investor's perspective here. I think everyone is just scared of what's going to happen with their assets if they're going to go and invest in Ukraine now. So we're not talking about just the sectors like banking and IT, where you obviously don't need to invest into the infrastructure. I think the fear is if we invest into factories, if we invest into people, and then we'll have to, so for example, hire local Ukrainian people. I think there's that scare, and I think it would be sort of the question, what's the Ukrainian government doing from that perspective to support businesses and to support that sort of protection that they want for their assets if they get destroyed? I think that's more sort of for Ukrainian cohort to answer, if there is an answer to that.
Maybe Dmytro could. And Simon, you got something you're about to say, or yeah?
Yeah, okay, yeah, Nataliya, you're absolutely right. I believe this is the number one obstacles for coming into Ukraine. This, the risk of military destruction, which is totally uncontrollable. So, and there are 2 factors which I believe could make it happen. Yeah, the investment. Firstly, the strong efforts of Ukrainian government and international organizations to launch the insurance of military work, and as I and my colleague, as Simon told in detail, yeah, that's the work is far from being like perfect, and there is still much to be made. But overall, I see a great progress in that. And in my particular opinion, it will be pretty soon when an average investor may receive a good insurance coverage in Ukraine. And what I see in our projects that the investors, they were successful in getting the insurance for construction the factories. It's not like something very, very huge, but if they're talking about 5-10 million euro, that is quite manageable in Ukraine in terms of construction. And another factor, yeah, there is a huge risk of war, but at the same time, you can get absolutely fantastic revenues in Ukraine because of lack of competition, vacant market shares, and those. So it's a little bit gambling, yeah, but okay, you can benefit from that as well. So this is how I see it.
Thank you, Dmytro. Vadym, sorry, Simon. Yes, do you want a quick insert there?
Well, Nataliya's concern is equally the concern of the insurance market. And I think we should remember that the insurance market is not just there to do or to cover the risks that mankind cannot deal with. People in Somerset can't get flood insurance, and insurers won't insure them because they'd actually have to pay out. And I'm afraid I don't think the investors on a big scale, with respect to the Ukrainian government coffers, will be satisfied that the Ukrainian government will indemnify them for a war or a political risk. They will be much more concerned about who is reinsuring those Ukrainian institutions. Again, we're talking about what's going to happen in the future, but it is important to recognize that insurers aren't just there to insure things for war if they don't want to. And there's a huge aggregate issue here. I mean, Putin talks about nuclear attack. Well, maybe smart nuclear bombs are a thing of imagination for him. But at the same time, the aggregate risk to that is enormous. I mean, it could shake the entire insurance industry. So the insurance industry is not just there to solve the problem at a price. There are some things that just can't be done.
Okay. Thank you for that.
Vadym,
hello.
Yes. Sorry, actually, it's just an important message to tell investors, because I think quite a lot of them see it as, oh, it's a black and white box of either I get insurance and I go in, or I don't get insurance and I don't go in. And I think it's important for them to realize that it's a grey market, and obviously there will be risks involved. But thank you. Yeah. Thank you both, Dmytro and Simon.
Thank you for that. Vadym, hello. I thought I'd lost you for a moment, but glad to see you come back. Over to you. Look forward to hearing what PwC is doing and the kind of sectors that you're working in.
Yes, hello everyone. First of all, thank you to Britain Business Council for inviting me to share some knowledge and expertise. Thanks to everyone who have already made their speeches, shared their great insights and knowledge. My name is Vadym Romaniuk. I'm a senior manager and the head of banking and finance at PwC Legal Ukraine. We are a separate law firm within the global network of PwC firms, providing full-scale legal assistance to our clients. But being a part of the global network, our services are not limited to purely legal services, but we also provide services to investors on the whole range of professional services, such as tax compliance, tax consultancy, full scope assistance on deals and investments, market research, valuation services, and the like. And many industries use our services for various purposes, which include banking and finance. Obviously, it's my personal focus. We have agriculture, automotive industry, IT, special IT sector, as well as defense industry as well, which includes various business who provide services in order to support our resistance to the aggressor, which is of utmost importance, in particular, given today's massive missiles attack in Ukraine. From my side, we do understand that Ukraine is a very risky country to invest now. However, we are, and I'm sure my colleagues here also aware of clients who are investing here right now in various sectors. They believe and support Ukraine. It's very valuable. We do appreciate this. Needless to say that martial law provides quite a lot of specific rules in Ukraine, quite a lot of limitations. which you always need to be aware of, like how to serve, how mobilization issues are very, very important, how to reserve employees, how to deal with the currency control restrictions, which are indeed better now. It's not that bad as it was before, but still there's quite lots of specific issues introduced during martial law where assistance of lawyers is of utmost importance. For example, returning back to the currency control limitations, unfortunately, I had several clients who just invested here funds after the war started, didn't consult with lawyers, and they got their money stuck here in Ukraine, and they cannot get out of Ukraine. So it's really important to understand the rules from the beginning when you start investing. So to sum up, I would say that it's not that difficult to do business. Well, it's difficult to do business in Ukraine right now, but it's quite possible. Lots of specifics of martial law needs to be well understood, and that is where lawyers are of help to you. And we also hope and expect that these investments that are carefully structured, carefully prepared for, will bring quite a significant return on investment in the future. So thank you very much once again for inviting, and thank you very much for everyone who were listening and will be listening to this recording.
Thank you, Vadym. If I could just say something from my perspective, it is obviously difficult and people are reticent about investing. On the other hand, if conflict does actually come to some conclusion, and anything could happen. I mean, we don't know what will happen. It might be that Russia has some sort of constriction on itself and decides not to continue. Let's say the war does end. I suspect there's an awful lot of money waiting to come into Ukraine for investment from various sources, billions, and it'd be a big gold rush. What do you think people should do now to make sure that they are positioned well for the gold rush ahead of anyone else who's likely to be rushing in? It will happen one day. There will be a lot of investment. Latecomers will be missing out. What should early adopters do without too much risk to position themselves now? Each of you maybe just say what you feel about that, if that's a reasonable conjecture.
Yeah, thank you. Well,
yeah, we'll just Dmytro first. Yeah, sorry.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry, Vadym. So in my view, though, the main task here would be to grab the share in the market. Yeah. So because who will hold it, the one will benefit in the future. But you can actually do it in two basic ways. Like you can go with a huge investment, like construct factories, production facilities, etc. This potentially give you a better feedback and return, but it's risk. Yeah. At the same time, you may promote your products, your services in Ukraine through cooperating with the local partners, of course, subject to the due diligence, proper investigation, KYC procedures, etc. So, but you can contract with them and start promoting your product, and so doing, you can grab this market share. So, in my view, economically speaking, this is the primary task, and this is what you can really do, because the level of business activity is still low. There is a lot of vacancy on the markets, etc. So you can take it and you will benefit, and you can do it either in the most safer way through the local partners, or do it yourself with a greater risk but a better return.
Thank you, Dmytro. Yaroslav, what's your view?
Yeah, I think that companies who understand these opportunities already started to do something, and actually more foreign companies will be on the market who actually active at the moment. They will attract others, and a good example is market of renewable energy, where, as I mentioned already, there is a group of international and local companies investing into development of projects, and it is a good trend because companies understand that they will spend several years on development of projects, and they take a little risk of missile attacks for such projects because it is difficult to destroy licenses. And so they will be just waiting for the right moment to attract large investors who will come and actually start with these projects which has been developed already.
Thank you very much. Simon, do you have a view?
Yes. The Center for Strategic and International Studies did a report last year about the cost of rebuilding Ukraine, and it's estimated to be well in excess of $1 trillion, even more so than the cost of rebuilding Europe after the Second World War. But my suggestion would be a much more simple one, and that is I would go there. I would do as much as I could to start making relationships with people I trust. And let's be honest, there are a lot of bandits in Ukraine still. And I would start by, looking at those industries that I wanted to invest in. I'd start learning a little bit about who is proactive and honest, and who would use the investment that I plan to make into Ukraine wisely, economically, and profitably. But I don't think there's anything better than just getting in that train or in a coach and just getting around Ukraine and learning about what the business climate is.
Thank you, Simon. And as you know, Ukraine Britain Business went over there for Christmas, had a very productive relationship with a number of political contacts and mayors, and we're very keen to take people over there again to establish relationships on that basis. You can't beat being there.
Absolutely.
Vadym, any thoughts on the matter?
I think the first and quite a simple step, which any investor which is thinking about doing business in Ukraine, is to conduct good and comprehensive SWOT analysis to understand, like it's classic, strengths, weaknesses, threats, and opportunities. Everything that everyone has just told, it's like more or less suits into this analysis. So that's probably would be my best advice, to start from that.
Thanks very much. Nataliya, last but not least.
No, to be fair, I echo everything that was said by Vadym, Simon, Dmytro, and Yaroslav. But ultimately, what we keep hearing, what I keep hearing from investors here is the sort of common excuses of corruption, insurance, and the sort of fears of judicial system. And like we've touched already on the insurance, it is a risk and reward situation which people just need to accept. And obviously corruption, like echoing what Simon said, just do, and Vadym, do your due diligence, and then that's going to succeed. But in terms of judicial system, just come to lawyers. We can protect you. We can come up with either Ukrainian solutions, or most of contracts are done under UK law anyways. You can have UK as your seat of arbitration, as your litigation seat. It shouldn't be the one thing that precludes you from going to Ukraine, basically. But that would be my
Thank you very much. I think I'm likely to call an end to this now, because you've all given a very good exposition of the scenarios, what the possibilities, what the opportunities are, and the caution required. So unless anyone's really wanting to say something additional, I'd like to thank Nataliya from Harcus Parker, Simon from Chesterfield Insurance, Dmytro Syrota from SDM, Yaroslav Petrov from Asters, and Vadym Romaniuk from PwC Legal. We'll be very much in touch with you. We will share this with as many people as we can. Feel free to do the same through our website, through our Twitter, through our LinkedIn. So hopefully a lot of people will see you. And indeed, if you want to join the Ukraine Britain Business Council to go on visits to Ukraine, or just to be in touch with what's going on, we welcome anyone joining up with us. So please feel free to get in touch with me or us. And thank you, everybody, for your great wisdom. And I know that time is money, and I better let you get on with your work now. So thanks very much indeed.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Have a nice day.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank
Bye.
you.